So for my food project, what I made was a pig in a pan, which is a spin on my favorite dish, bacon and eggs. So my development process started off with really sketching out ideas that I developed from one sort of common theme, and that was bacon and eggs. So one of the ideas that I sketched is right here, and as you can see, it's pretty close to the main model because I found that I really liked this idea. However, there are some things that I didn't like about it, such as the bread in the bottom of the corner, because that doesn't really look like bread. So I decided to change this design up a bit, and one of the main things that I encountered when I was doing this project was that a lot of the times, things that you planned out aren't really going to work out, so you're going to have to change them and adapt them to result in the best possible outcome. So after doing my drawings and sketchings, I went to making a mini model. And as you can see over here, that is my mini model. And from this, I was able to learn several things about my project, such as the fact that on the side of my pan here, it's smooth, but then on the other side, it's rough. And that's because I didn't glaze enough. So that was something that I learned going into my actual main project. Now, I think some of the ideas that I reached with level 4 creativity that I incorporated into my model and my drawings were the fact that I deconstructed the bacon and egg dish. So instead of making actual scrambled eggs, I made whole eggs right there and a whole pig right there, as well as adding the seasoning that I normally add, which is black pepper and thyme. So after making my model, I decided to go into glazes and really trying to get to that level 4 glazing where you have a whole bunch of different colors added. So for example, with my pig, I added shadows to the ears and a different color to the snout because that is what a snout is. And then also on the bottom of the pig, which you can take out, you can see that there's a darker color because it's covered by the top of the pig. And then also I added details that made it look more realistic, such as on the side of the pan lid here, I've got this white reflection stripe that comes from the light, and it brings down onto the pan itself. Then also in the pig's eyes, you can see that I have two little white marks where that was also another reflection in the eyes. And here you can see my glazing list, which I used a lot of glazes, and that's what I really felt like got me to the level 4 creativity and level 4 glazing, because all these different glazes make for some really interesting outcomes, such as my black pepper over here. On the bottom, I did light silver, a 201, coated several times, and then I put one coat of 202, which is like a dark gray, over that to get a different color scheme. Then with my actual model and project, I found that I had some couple errors. First of all, when I was glazing my pan and making it, I actually forgot a chunk of the pan because that broke off because I didn't cover it enough so it dried out. So that's one thing you should know. You should always cover your project while you're working on it, especially bigger things because they dry out quicker. And so in order to cover that up, I tried to glaze over it, and that didn't really work. So instead I got that dark spot where the glaze dripped down. So one thing you should always watch is to not glaze too much, and also to keep your pan and your other things that you're making, food projects, food items, keep those wet and moisturized all the time. Then also, with my time bottle, I overglazed there because as you can see, it is dripping and kind of melted looking and a bit weak because I glazed too much, and so it all just melted off in the kiln, which is not something that you want because it doesn't create a nice clean line that makes it look more realistic. In order to make nice clean lines like I did on my pan lid over here, instead of spending hours and hours trying to precision paint, I used tape to trim the edges of it, and then I glazed over the tape so I didn't have to worry about making any errors because the tape was there to help me. Then over the process of my developing my food project, I had to make several changes, such as with my model, as you can see, it's facing this way, where the handle is to your right, but on my actual project, it's to your left. and that's because of the dark spot. So you're gonna have to make changes overall, and that's okay, because in the end, it's gonna look better when you change and you don't just stay with one idea that may not be the best, but changing it will make it much better. For example, my pig here was originally just gonna be a regular pig, but since I made it kind of cartoony style, I decided to turn it into an actual working piggy bank, as well as making it able to be removed from my project because I felt like that was the thing that I really wanted when I came across this project. So that's my project. Thank you.